The effects of smoking on a singing voice and in general are widely known these days, but what about the effects of vaping? That's what we talk about today in another video from Open Mic UK on artist development. Hello, I'm Alan Spicer. Today we're going to talk about vaping. Vaping up until now has been considered much safer, less harmful than general standard smoking. It's the alternative to traditional cigarettes and becoming more and more popular. Smoking can permanently affect how your voice actually sounds, causing serious damage to your vocals. And vaping shouldn't be overlooked because there's some substances within these e-liquids that can cause some serious damage. While I've already talked about what you should eat and drink to maintain and look after your voice, I'll put it in a iCard somewhere up here, little is known about the long-term effects of vaping. So should it really be trusted in your lifestyle? Let's break this down a little bit. First of all, smoking. You know, cigarette, tobacco. It's something that attacks your whole body. The whole cocktail inside a cigarette is disgustingly harmful. It attacks your heart, your skin, your lungs, your bones. I mean, there's nothing that a cigarette doesn't attack, including your voice. You've got to think that not only do you breathe in, but you breathe out. Your respiratory system is the core focus, the driving force behind your actual voice. And then, of course, it attacks your voice in itself. The main damage here, ironically, is the nicotine, the thing that makes it addictive in the first place. Not to mention the tar that coats your lungs and causes inflammation. Heavy smoking can damage your vocal folds, cause inflammation, changing and even restricting your singing voice. This is where you get the Johnny Cash kind of raspy voice. Not only that, long-term smoking can actually cause direct medical conditions like nodules on your vocal cords, laryngitis and even throat cancer. Now I touched upon it shortly, but it also can have direct effects on your own sound. So let's say you never smoked when you first created your music and then 10-20 years down the line, what kind of effect would that have? Well, it can make your voice inflamed. It can make it raspy, it can make it scratchy, causing breathlessness or even weakening your voice. This can reduce your pitch or tonal accuracy, increase vocal fatigue, and even, of course, give you that dreaded smoker's cough. All of which, when you're trying to perform with the instrument that is your voice, this has a negative effect, and in the long run, could ruin certain songs that you choose to sing, or stop you hitting certain notes that would make that song that thing. And speaking from my own personal fandom, this is why people like David Draiman from Disturbed and Matt Tuck don't scream as much or don't growl as much when they're doing their rock music, or they have their friends and their colleagues sing certain parts of their song for them, because where they used to be able to do it, they can't hit that note anymore. Or they've caused such damage that they can't do it at fear of causing more damage and risking their entire career. Now, how about vaping? Vaping can have a serious impact on your vocal cords and shouldn't be seen as the harmless alternative. E-cigarettes may not produce smoke like your traditional cigarette, but they still generate propylene glycol, which is like a simulated smoke. This can irritate the respiratory tract, dry out your throat, and inflame your vocal cords just like any other normal cigarette. In the long run, this can dry out the mucus within your throat that protects your wonderful instrument, because if it's too dry it won't vibrate properly, which can strain your voice, something that we've touched upon previously. If you need tips on how to cure that kind of thing, there's a video up here. But that can lead to it being strained, hoarse or even pitchy, which if you're trying to hit a specific note, if you're known for a specific sound, that could cause serious problems for you. Is vaping without nicotine safe? Is it bad for you? Now, there's still a lot of mysteries around e-cigarettes. There's still a lot of research going on, but there's not much known about this new fad. It's only been around for 10 or so years in the mainstream like it is now. And even vaping without nicotine still carries health risks. Short-term side effects of nicotine-free vaping still include the irritation, the dryness, inflammation, and toxicity. All these pose a big health threat to a singer. Also, ingredients within vapes, like glycol and glycosyl, irritate your mouth when heated. And that's what you do. It's a little burner that heats up the liquid to turn it into steam for you to breathe in, that vape. And there are researchers that still have concerns that this toxicity could still generate carcinogens, cancer-creating problems. Even without nicotine, it can still trigger your immune system, so it can still generate things like irritation, which leads to inflammation in your lungs and your throat. Vaping versus smoking. Now, vaping is considered less harmful than a standard cigarette. Regular cigarettes contain things like tobacco, tar, nicotine, and have a proven track record of causing damage to your health. There's over 7,000 toxic chemicals in a cigarette that harm your body, especially your respiratory system. Now, vaping doesn't expose you to things like tar or carbon monoxide, just like a cigarette does. E-cigarettes work by heating up the liquids, the nicotine, and serving it to you in a cloud, a vape. These could be flavoured, so they can mimic a cigarette, or they could be a treat, something like a raspberry, or an apple, or a chocolate, or an ice cream. That really is thousands of flavours out there. The issue here is that the complete lack of research, or the lack of long-term research on things like vaping, because it is so new. Cigarette research didn't really emerge for 20, 30, 40 years, and now we're condemning it. Vaping may be a healthier alternative, a diet smoking, but is it truly good for you in the long run? So how do you reverse the effects of smoking or vaping? It's much easier to prevent damage than reverse it, so try to avoid them entirely to start with, but quitting smoking or vaping is a good way to start. If you insist on vaping, do your research, avoid certain specific ingredients, avoid certain e-liquid flavours. Drinking water after vaping can help ease any inflammation, cancelling out that dehydration, and try nicotine-free e-juice. Now, on the Open Mic UK website, there is a list of specific flavours that you should avoid and things that may be better for you. And if you want more tips on what you should eat and drink, there's a video here, a playlist here. Subscribe to the channel for more tips, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Goodbye.